Hey neighbor, welcome back to ARTV Rogue. My name is John, and it's time for a quick review of the new Walk the Moon album. In fact, it's their first in 4 years. I wasn't super keen on that record, but Talking Is Hard broke out as one of my favorite releases of 2014, and it established Walk the Moon as this band with indie pop, alternative crossover appeal, but they also more so came to this niche audience, and I appreciate that they finally arrived at Heights, and it took some time to get there. Their bassist is out of the band. There were some allegations he got booted or else left in December of 2020, and even though he has credits on the majority of these songs, these are tracks that were written long ago throughout their career and they just finally got back to, because like they kind of put it brilliantly themselves, every band has a song or a bunch of songs that you write and they don't necessarily find a home, at least not on that album that you're working on at that point, but that doesn't mean that they can't be great songs. And based on what I'm hearing on this album, Heights, I'd have to agree with them that they definitely had some killer material left over. Now, they've definitely retooled a lot of these tracks. I appreciate that they made it flow pretty well for the most part. It's a vibrant album to listen to, and colorful and Walk the Moon, that goes hand in hand. They've definitely been doing that since their inception. It's what really put me onto them in the first place with Anna Son and some of the stuff on the Tightrope EP. But now looking at this through the lens of, hey, they've been around and active and known at least for like a decade now, I think that Heights is a good summation of their career so far. And it kicks off with the title track that really puts it into an 80s leaning perspective like they've done a lot of times in the past, but I appreciate that this one really had that kickstart to just really break us into what they're going for. Now, this album lyrically, by no means a masterpiece. There's some duds in here. In fact, tracks like DNA, the keys are a bit too simplistic, although I do enjoy the music. But also My Kids, I found myself cringing and saying, no, Nicholas Petrica, down. Bad boy. You don't just walk up to someone and say your fantasies out loud. Hey, do you wanna maybe have my kids? I know that it's trying to be over the top and like cliche and bubbly, romantic, whatever. Just saying that, hey, this is me expressing that I am in love with this woman. But it fell flat for me and it felt cheap and recycled, whereas a lot of the ideas here, for the most part, they're very, very fresh. Some of my favorites on this record included the pre-release single Giants, that I think is one big mood that definitely feels like it could have gone on several of their albums, most notably possibly Talking Is Hard. I think that it's a perfect track for Walk the Moon because it captures everything with these synthesizers between that and some sparse guitars that really ramp up as the track goes on, collecting energy. I also surprisingly found enjoyment in Rise Up. It's a little bit cliche. In fact, it's very cliche, but it's also something that kind of lights a fire under your ass for real with the way that the music goes for it and how self-aware it seems. I swear, when so many bands write these songs, like I've called out a lot of songs, I made a cheesy songs SOS that fail at motivating even though they're trying to be motivational. They go so wrong because they take it so damn seriously. But this is basically saying, hey, life is gonna make you shit bricks sometimes, but you're gonna get back up on your feet. And for that reason, I do find it to be a nice little empowerment moment. I also found a lot of entertainment in I'm Good, possibly my favorite track on the album right there. I appreciate that it's just not trying to be two-faced at all, but it kind of is showing you how you have to act a certain way. Once you're leaving the relationship publicly, you're trying to act like it's all smooth, but you try to think about it later and you're like, wow, that was kind of fucked how everything went down. But it's so big. I just picture like twisting 80s camera angles and a lot of colors. You can see a visceral reaction in this song. So I'm Good, definitely up there with the absolute best moments. I think that it goes off the rails a little bit towards the end, like I mentioned, My Kids, not exactly the most solid track. And then What You Can't Make Up, while I appreciate and even kind of feel on the same way about the sentiment behind the track, saying like, I want something that I can't hear twice. I want something that I can't just search up on Google. I want to feel it. It goes on for way too long. It feels like a total gimmick, and Nick just starts to bore me by the end of this one with the way that he's just kind of talking over it. And I get it, talking is hard, but it shouldn't be that difficult to get through a 4-minute track. Overall, for me, on Heights, I enjoyed myself. I think that there was a lot of fun to be had. I even liked the closing moment a whole lot. Population of 2. It just feels like a nice little expression of love with a great guitar solo to really send it over the moon. No pun intended again, I keep doing it, but that's what happens when you get unscripted, unfiltered John. I'm gonna give this a light 4 out of 5. Heights by Walk the Moon. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments section down below if you've heard this album, if you're planning to check it out. There should be a link to stream it in the description. Other than that, you can check out more Walk the Moon reviews on screen now, including my top 10 Walk the Moon tracks, and I'll be back soon for more on ARTV Rogue.